Kink money. Yes, yes, yes. We're talking about kink money. We're talking about kink money. My name is Nicholas Tannick, and this is your kinky friends. Everything we talk about today is consensual. We're adults. We're consenting adults. This is a lifestyle. Don't judge. Seriously, don't judge. Look deep in yourself. Have you accepted yourself? Are you judging people? That's why you're lonely. Loneliness is an epidemic. There's an epidemic of loneliness in this country. Why don't you look for a friend, a kinky friend? Let's see.
These kinky friends.
Tonight's episode is Kink Money. Kink Money. What is kink money? All right. What is kink money? Where is? Oh my God! Oh wait! Oh, Mistress Sophie's here, and
Hey!
okay. Hi, Mistress Sophie. How you doing?
Hey,
so,
girl.
let's open up the let's introduce everybody. First off, we have new to YKF Weekends, the magnificent. Oh my God! I'm so thankful. LadyRed is here. LadyRed is here. LadyRed from Interview My Kink podcast. We had a great show. Oh. We had a great show. She was on my show. I was on her show. LadyRed has a great podcast coming out. Interview My Kink. She's, I think, 7 episodes in or something like that already. Yeah, and it's a real show. It's and you're witnessing the creation of a new podcast, a new voice, especially a voice in the leather community. A voice that needs to be heard. Thank you very much for being here, LadyRed, and of course, Mistress Claudia. Mistress Claudia, she saves lives. She does. She's like the straight up lifesaver. Dominatrix Tempo, Arizona. Hi, how you doing?
Hello.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I could hear you well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm really sick today. I was gifted the flu from someone who came back from Boston.
Oh, man.
No.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So it's okay. So I won't blow my nose loud.
And if anybody has any tips for dealing with the flu, getting with the, not just chicken soup, like, practical new things that can inspire Mistress Claudia to get better. We got to look out for our people. You know what I mean? And straight from England, Mistress Sophie. How are you, Mistress Sophie?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
Well, so soft spoken. And of course, there's Valentina, the bussy boss. Oh my God, this can be such a great night. So we're talking about kink money. What is kink money? Now, I was reading the book I wrote called The Coolest Way to Kill Yourself. It's about Lynn. Lynn was my love who passed away from ovarian cancer. I tell her story, and it tells the story of us coming out as kinky people, getting into the kink community, and just becoming ourselves, so to speak. And she would talk about kink money. She would use phrases like "follow the kink money." That's my kink money I'm using for later. Or now that I make kink money, life is different. It might mean different things. There's good, bad. It's basically just money associated with kink. So the first question I want to ask, and it's a double-sided question. You can see where it goes. I'll flip it at the afterwards. I'm going to start off with LadyRed. How does money control your kink?
Well, I was thinking about that, and it might be controlling my kink because I buy a lot of stuff for my kink activities. I buy a lot of gear. I buy a lot of clothing. I spend money on events. So I don't know if that's the question, like how it's impacting my spending or my receiving. But as far as my spending, I'm dishing out a lot of money on this kink.
Truth.
Valentina, do you have anything to add?
How does money control my
your
kink?
kink?
Well, in the practical sense, yeah, like, you dish out money on equipment and things like that. Yeah, from a practical standpoint, as a pro, all of that really adds up, the travel and expenditures and so on. But also, and I suspect we'll get into this at length, but as a professional, handling money, what like how we ask for it, how we require it, what do we say about it, how do we move with it, that kind of thing. That's a very complex subject about, as any self-employed professional can speak to, that setting your worth and having your value and what do you stand, all of these things are very much in play with that, and and
Let's get
intersecting
specific.
with personal feelings.
Let's get specific. You're the bussy boss,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So your kink would be bossing around bussies.
Yeah.
How does money affect that specifically? Like, does it affect it? Are dildos that expensive? Or should they, like, they are?
The nice ones, the big
nice
the big
ones
ones
right?
can be, the big ones can be can be pretty
special kinds of
pricey.
lube, everything going on with that. There's a ripple effect. Like I think the commandant was saying, money's a current. Currency.
Mm-hmm.
Money's a current.
Mm-hmm.
How much does that current flow towards anal play?
It flows in surprising ways. I wouldn't say so. Like, I've mentioned this before. Guys' their eyes are always bigger, much bigger than their holes. So it flows in media ways. It flows in videos. It flows in conversations. It flows in all these fantasies. Basically, it's very fantasy based. Sometimes people do, embody that in person, where they come in for sessions and that kind of thing. That sort of on hands play, but it really the kink snags the money there in a very powerful, very direct way. It is pegging and anal play on men is still something that's it's been coming up in the mainstream, but it's still in the process of percolating up, and there is there's a lot to be said about how people invest in that particular kink, and the pull that it has towards me. Basically, if we're coming down to it, that's
like, if I was going to look at fetishes in tiers, TIER,
mm-hmm.
That's not tier.
That too.
And if I was going to look at it, would you say that going the level in the professional sense, anything anal steps the money up a huge notch?
Yeah, I would say it definitely, because it's a specialized thing, and it's it's surprising, maybe not surprising, but a lot of a certain number of doms do not engage in anal play, certainly not in strap-on, and I can definitely understand why, but it is kind of a sought-after kink, and yeah, I think it does. Definitely, if you do it at the more advanced level, like I do, it does, like, there is a specialty thing. It's a niche thing. So yeah, there is. If somebody, yeah.
How does money control your kink?
It definitely puts me on a budget. So I always, there's an old saying here in the UK. They always say you always spend inside your means. And what people mean by that is that they say you don't overspend on anything. So you can be as creative as you like, but as long as you don't overspend on things, then you're in the clear. So that's how it controls it. It's more of a psychological thing rather than a mental thing.
And finally, Mistress Claudia, how would you say money controls your kink?
Can you repeat that? You kind of cut out.
How did money control your kink?
So I think that money basically controls my kink as almost like a peace offering / seal the deal of a connection with someone, where they can trust you and you can trust them, and you both can explore each other's kinks together with no judgment, with no fear of you know, because a lot of people have, you know, real vanilla lives, and, you know, they can't do this or communicate their kinks with the people in their day-to-day life.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, with
Some people are fortunate and they do have expressed themselves 24/7, but most people know. So I think that when there's that of your secret is safe with me and vice versa, that's how I look at it.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
excellent point.
Yeah.
So when it comes to money, right, the personal experiences with kink and money, some people have philosophies, approaches as business out there. Here, I used to be a corporate zombie, money hungry corporate zombie. I was bad. Yeah, I was that douchebag.
You're still a
Learn
douchebag.
no. I try to be a charming kinky douchebag at least.
Wolf of Wall Street. Wolf of Wall
I
Street.
love you.
But what I'm saying is there's a certain philosophy when it comes to money. So there's the stereotype of a dominatrix, you know, that they're all money hungry. There's the findom stuff, which we'll get into, and stuff like that. But then there's also a stereotype of kinky people and money and stuff like that. How money hungry, they don't care about money. Yet again, when it really is, honestly, it's capitalism. The whole entire world is just money hungry if you think about it. So I'm asking you, does anyone have a philosophy or a style or an approach to the financial aspects of your kink journey? You know, so like some people are ruthless. Some people are very laid back. There's a reason why I'm not rich, is because I'm not a horrible person. You know, who wants to try kink? That's what most of us are. I mean, all of us. I only have decent people on my show, and you know, all of you are decent. So you have to have a philosophy and style to survive in the world, in the kink community, financially. So let's start off with Mistress Claudia. Do you have a philosophy or style to your approach to financial aspects in the kink community? An attitude, maybe?
Well, I think it's
Motto?
changed over the years. You know, I think more so, you know, I see the transactional part of it as the money is, you know, like if you were going to see a therapist, a therapist charges money, and in a lot of ways we are therapists to these people that come see us, because they couldn't even, some of them can't, what they're into, what they want to experience, what they fantasize about. And with us, there's no judgment.
True.
So I feel that it's the last and quickest part of anything I do. But on the other hand, you know, if this is how you make a living, then you know, your clients are going to understand that, yeah, I have to, you know, pay for the cause, but I can also trust you. You know, you can meet someone on the internet and next you like
you're
this
cutting
or whatever.
out.
And I've had it that has happened to people that I know. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go hit on my other Wi-Fi. I'll be right back.
No worries. No worries. Thank you very much.
I'll be
And we're
back.
moving along. Well, no worries. LadyRed, is there a philosophy, a style, or a motto, or some kind of approach to the financial aspects that you know that you in your life?
So to answer that question, I really have to think about it, because I consider myself to kind of be a newer person in the community, less than 5 years. So, you know, like when I first started, it was like I was spending money on everything. So I guess my philosophy now is like, see if I can make things, because I've gotten, you know, where I started making, you know, stuff, you know, to save money, or, you know, like hosting events to, you know, get money back. So my philosophy is like to try to figure out ways around just dishing out my money first, but try to, figure out, okay, well, is there another way that this can be, that I can accomplish the satisfaction of receiving that kink or that, that pleasure from the BDSM or leather without, coming out of pocket, So.
Mm.
I'm so glad he brought that up because the base of the kink community is looking at things differently. So if we look at money differently and ways to achieve money differently, kink money, that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
Mistress Claudia may be back. Mistress
Hey.
Claudia, can you hear me? Can you hear us? All right. So I want to wrap this up with another, to bring Anna and Mistress Sophie back into this, but to add to the question, not only do you have a philosophy, but how has monetizing your kink shaped your relationship with the community? Anna? So
Okay.
in other words, two parts. So in other words, do you have a philosophy style, like a motto that like, do you say like, fuck you, pay me? Is that, because that's a style of,
That is a
money.
style. Yeah.
Then there's a more laid back kind of chess player style. There's all
Kind of, yeah. So, kind of building on what Mistress Claudia was saying about, kind of build a signifier of like sincerity and respect and so on. That's one thing. When somebody pays for a session or even just puts a deposit down or something, they are committing to that. They are putting that in their mental calendar, etc. And two, money secures my time, secures his time. Money secures time, discretion, and space. Oh my God! You have any idea if they have any idea how many hoops DOMs have to jump through to have a private, secure, safe, discreet space for us to play in? You don't just go into one of these co-working spaces and rent a room for an hour, however long, and you have all these screaming and smacking noises. No, you have to go through specific requirements just to be able to play. And we are the ones who do this. We are the ones who find that place, who guarantee your safety, guarantee that your wife, your business, whatever, that they're not going to find out. This is what this is what you're paying for. This is what you're paying for, is to be taken care of. It doesn't matter what kinks we're involved in or what have you. Yes, some kinks might be more involved. Like if I'm going to do a mummification session, it's $200 in supplies. Yeah, you're going to be forwarding that money so I can buy those supplies and so on. But what you're paying for is the intangible, like a therapist, like that kind of cocoon of treatment. And that's where the money and kink intersect with, for me, is I do play lifestyle, but that's what happens when you play with somebody lifestyle, right? Well, let's see, Thursday night, is Thursday night good for you? Well, I don't know, we've got the kids. Well, what about Sunday? Well, I don't know, let's blah, blah, blah. You've got these regular life schedules and so on. When you contact a pro, it's okay, we have available. Or you have this time, blah, blah, blah. We've got that. Scheduling. I'm going to schedule you. I'm not going to show up at your house. These are the things that money secures for you when you involve that with kink. So when I talk about, that's my approach. That's my philosophy. It's very practical. It's very much wrapped around the environment that I supply. Toys and so on, yes, but the environment that I'm supplying is one, and that is incredibly valuable. Yeah. That's what a professional brings, is all of that around it. And that's why we charge what we charge. It's not just what we do in session, it's the world that we build around it. What was the next question?
Mistress Sophie, your philosophy, your style of approach, and also once you cross that line to monetizing your kink, it shapes your relationship with your attitude. So first of all, Mr. Sophie, do you have like an approach? And second, how has it changed? How has it shaped your relationship with the community?
My approach to all of this really is that no deposit, no session. Bottom line. It's because my deposit has to deal with the location. So when a client pays for a deposit, I don't see a penny of that money. that immediately goes to the location. So, you know, when I've had situations before where clients have actually paid deposits, and then I go there, I get myself all ready, I'm all dressed up, and then they don't show up. And, you know, it leaves me sitting there thinking, why? What
Why
the
would
hell
you not?
happened?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you've just paid like, you know, $150 for my time. Why are you doing this to me? You know, it's like, what
Maybe
did I
just
do?
wife will find out. But like, I'm sure, like, LadyRed, you know, at events and your parties and stuff like that, there's thousands of ways to get paid, right? And also, but it does change things. It changes the relationship. It can enhance it. It can make things better. It does. Money changes everything. How has monetizing your kink in any way, or doesn't have to, whatever you're doing, how has it shaped your relationship with the kink community?
Well, I'm not on the level the other ladies are. So as far as monetizing, I'm spending money. I haven't really received money back, so I can't really speak on that. I mean, like, I'm going to be hosting my first event coming up soon.
Woo!
But I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Tell us about it.
Okay. So it's going to be we're going to be giving BDSM demos. I'm going to have it's going to be 4 doms and myself, and it's going to be at a private location. So basically, it's going to be a small amount of people, maybe less than 20, but it's going to be
Nice.
very intimate for people who are beginners as well as people who might be advanced in BDSM. You know, it's going to be giving them the chance to experience it. So that's my stepping stone to starting to get something out of what I've been paying all this money into right now. So.
Yeah. Where are you located?
I'm in South Carolina.
Oh, awesome. Where in South, or do you want
Columbia, but the event is going to be in Georgia. Augusta, Georgia. I'm going to be in Augusta, Georgia. And it's going to be in September. And from that, I mean, I've been to so many events that I feel comfortable, So I guess that's the way, it changed my life, by
sorry. If you are close enough to New Orleans, maybe you could consider going to DomCon in New Orleans in October. It's fun. It's a little more intimate than the LA one, but it's DomCon was started by a lifestyle pro dom, lifestyle/pro. And Mr. Cyan has been the whole way. She has always been, this is a bridge that we're building between pro and lifestyle. And it's a great community. If you want to learn and make some networks and stuff, I would highly recommend maybe checking it out.
I'm thinking about going to that. I've heard about them. I went to South this year, and I made a lot of connections there. So, I'm going places and meeting people, and I'm going to start spreading my wings soon. So.
Yeah. All right. Good.
All right. What about people who make content, legal issues, clips and stuff like that, or just instead of content, let's just say kinky. How does it affect legal issues? How does it affect your insurance? Where you live, the location. Let's start off with Mistress Sophie. Mistress Sophie, how does kink money affect your legal issues, your insurance, your marriage, your locations, and everything you are?
Well, one of the things that I always have to do is work in cash. Because any kind of bank transactions show up straight away.
Ooh.
It's so easily trackable. And I don't know if you know, but very recently here in the UK, say within the last 48 hours, we've had a real crackdown on kink related things. My government is going crazy.
Oh no!
Shout out to Stan Vladimir. He's telling me that they can't even see my stuff on Twitter.
Oh.
What?
Oh yeah, no, literally, right.
Oh, so much for
as-
free speech.
They're not in
That's
America.
Yeah.
I know. These are
Yeah.
and that's why I can't stress enough. Seriously, I'm gonna look. Everyone on this show and everyone listening on the show is affected by money, and especially affected by the way this world is changing dramatically and rapidly. So I propose something. I propose we keep the kink money within the kink community. We have to support the kinky people. We have to support each other, and the only way to do it is through money. The only way to do it is through money. So kink helps kink. Go to a class. LadyRed is having an event. Go there. Seriously, I'm telling you to go there. Go there. Help out. Be try to keep the money, keep the current of currency flowing. All right, let's get back to the show. All right. So Anna Valentina, boundary.
Oh boy,
How do you
I'm
say
glad oh wait, no, I was gonna say about commercial aspect. Boy, payment processing. Oh my God, that's a whole topic right there about talking about more loops hoops that Dom's jump through is discrete payment processing. How do we get paid? How does the client pay us without it showing up on their, whatever? It's another layer of security and discretion. And we're always, oh my God, we are always having to find new solutions. Payment processors drop out and this and that, and whatever happens. And so, yeah, that's a really, if we want to talk about keeping money in the kink community, let's start a payment processor, for God's sakes.
Have any of you used cryptocurrency for kink purposes?
I don't know.
No.
Okay. Let's start on.
I've heard too many bad stories about it. I don't touch it.
Yeah, you sound like you got some money.
No, I don't have any money.
Or an idea how to get some money.
That's my point. That goes on to the end of the show. I have something that I really want to pitch everybody. Let's keep it continuing. So let's continue. Boundaries. How do you set them? Now you're in the kink community. A lot of people in the kink community. I had the frenzy myself. Oh my God. This is a beautiful community. Everyone's giving away everything. It's love. No one's giving away anything. Everything is a transaction.
Yes.
You either profit or you lost from a relationship. That's seriously. You either gain or you lose from a relationship. A scene. You either emotionally gain, mentally gain. You profit, loss. I hope that you are profiting from this show. Like the goal of it is to have you profit somehow, some way. So you have to set up boundaries. How do you set a boundary, Anna? You get a person who's like, I don't have any money, but I still. They just demand. They just think they have the privilege. These people have the privilege to think that you're just gonna send out your services like you're a vending machine or something like that. How do you set these boundaries, Anna?
Well, we get this all the time, of course. Well, I would love to come and serve you. I can clean your house, or I can rub your feet, or I can whatever. And it's like, well, that's great. But first of all, that's not, even if you did that service commercially, wouldn't be worth that much. Like giving me a pedicure is worth what, $30 or $40 or something. Or something like that. So, sometimes I do try to see if somebody has an actual valuable skill, which they don't, but it's like, if you had an actual, then you just have money. But boundaries, like what I say is like kind of referring to things like what I said earlier. It's like, you may not think that me giving you my talents or whatever is worth it. But okay, then, then talk to me about the other things that I deal with that are, the hoops that I jump through, like finding a space or something like that. Or, oh, can't you just have me over to your house? Or done? Boundaries. So like, I'm very, very private. I'm very careful about my personal details. I am open and warm with people, but, I make it very much like, I don't know. I find that hard to answer those sorts of things, because I make it very much like, we know each other well in this context, but if you want me to respect your boundaries, then you have to respect mine. I'm like, look, man, I'm not going to call you like when you're home with your family, or I'm not going to call you at work or whatever. So, you know, if you want me to not do those things, then you have to know that I don't want you to do certain things too, you know.
In the financial sense, though, in the strictly the financial sense, is
Oh,
when do you put your foot down and say you have to pay me? And then does that change things? As soon as you enter, money comes into play, the relationship changes, the dynamic changes. You know what I mean?
get the money up
And
front.
Okay.
Always get the money up front. Don't ever do stuff on credit. Always get it up front. Whether you're extending a session, booking a session, whatever, always get the money up front. There is one time in my entire career that I extended a session and didn't get the money up front, and he was like, "Oh, you know, we can, you know, I can run my card afterwards. I'll bring you the money." And you know, of course, guess what happened? Whatever, and I was out $450 for that.
Mistress Sophie, when I know, I can.
You never do that.
only
You only do that
imagine-
once.
right? Mistress Sophie, I can only imagine the time wasters you got to deal with. Trying to finagle you into free.
Bane of my life.
So what kind of, how do you set the boundaries to be like, no, this is about money. You like I'll talk, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people talk their way out of a couple bucks.
I am so glad you've asked me this, because I actually have the perfect solution to the problem. So,
Yes.
when people get in contact with me, it's always mostly via email. I allow up to 10 messages. 5 from me, 5 from the client. If a deposit isn't booked within those 10 messages, block.
Ooh, that's good. That's good.
I guarantee you it's a 99.9% way of dealing with time wasters.
Hell yeah. Yep. Yeah.
It is the
So-
single most brutal way of dealing with anyone, because the genuine people will know. Don't waste your time.
Yeah.
The people who
Never
just want to yank
waste the
themselves off.
dom's time.
Yeah.
Never waste a kinky person's time. Seriously, I look at it this way. The more I'm into the community, we realize how important time is. I mean, every time important for everybody, but people come out as kinky, right? They're taking a risk, and they're really, the time that they spend feels more important almost, you know, than a vanilla person, you know, because it's risky and everything like that. So take advantage of that time, please. And that means your time is worth something. Mistress Claudia is back. Mistress Claudia.
I'm back.
All right. Perfect. So boundaries, how do you set them for, you know, to make sure that this is a relationship? It's a business. It's about money. It's a service, so to speak. You got to set it straight from the beginning. That's what I'm getting. You know, what are some how do you set your boundaries?
Well, all of us are the ones that set the boundaries. We're the ones that are in charge. So for me, I will not see anyone for the first time or talk to them on the phone without a deposit. I either do Cash App. I've only had Venmo reversed once since I think Venmo came out. But other than that, Cash App's pretty good. But I make them, if I don't know who they are, they're going to leave a deposit, because our time is valuable. My play space is an hour away from where I live.
Oof.
So I'm not going to go drive an hour and get ready, and then they're not going to show up. You know, I think over time you learn, like, you can kind of almost feel the vibe of a time waster. I think the longer you do this, the more you can read the people that contact you.
Absolutely.
And I just don't waste my time. Our time is valuable, and you know, if it's someone that is worth meeting with, they're going to respect you. They're going to respect your time, and you know, it's mutual. We respect their time. I'm always, you know, I'm never late. I'm always on time. Once I get that deposit. There's open communication. There is no phone calls. I do not talk to people on the phone because I feel like that wastes a lot of time. A lot.
And the real ones, when people actually are, when they're real and they actually want to book the session, they will ask, what is your tribute? What is your deposit? Blah, blah, blah. How do we handle this? How do we do it?
Yeah.
They're not going to be like, oh, this is great. You know, let me know. If they are actually intending to book time and they're serious, they will, you know, they will want to know how much do I need to allow for this? You know, if they're not asking about money, they're not going to book with you.
Now, out to the next question, blurred consent. This could also be the original question was like, have you heard of situations where financial dynamics in kink led to exploitation of blurred consent? There are some people, I don't want to name any names, but there are some people who are doing have content that is, you think that it's fake, and there's certain fake aspects of it, but some of it is very real, you know, and it's questionable. Right. There's also people that I'm sure you've had, like that. What was the term? Post nut clarity, was it? Or
yeah,
you know, something where they feel kind of shame after a scene, or they go to, you know, or something like that. If there's money involved, it changes everything. So, have you ever encountered or heard of situations where financial dynamics led to like blurred consent? So it's not just blurred consent, like, oh, you know, it's more of like the shame and the, you know, all the feelings that come with it. Mistress Claudia?
I don't know if I am interpreting this correctly. Do you mean because there is a currency exchange that
for example,
overstep my boundaries?
Yes, if you have a currency exchange and and then some feeling of shame watches over them, and they're like, oh, I didn't agree to do this, and there's some financial aspect to it. Like, I know, I'm not calling out names, but I know like clients who like sat in lobbies of hotel rooms causing a fit because of blurred consent and stuff like that. So have you ever encountered something like that?
Yeah, I did a couple, maybe like a month ago. I had talked in the past with a client that I've been seeing for at least 5 years. And we were kind of joking around like, hey, like, would you be okay? What if like someone came here and, you know, had their way with you or whatever? And he was like, yeah, I'll try it. You know, well, I don't think he thought I was really going to do it. So then I really did it. And I think he was horrified. I mean, he was wearing a mask and stuff, and like I did video it, and you know, the other person that came in, I made them quiet and whatever, and then they did their thing, and then I made them leave and then go buy me a sandwich. But I didn't eat it like right away, but but after all was said and done, and his mask came off, you know, I could tell he was like, what did I just do? And he left. And then like 3 hours later, he texted me and was like, I don't think I ever want to do that again. And I was like, okay, you know, but my thing is that when, like, I like to have consultations before I start if I don't know the person. I want to know everything about them. I mean, we're going to do some, you know, really deep things with them. And so if they're not going to be open with me, I sort of, in a joking way, say, okay, so you have no limits, or your limits are this and this. Well, then I could do this, 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 and this, you know? So I think with the blurred money, I think if there's open communication on both ends of, you know, especially what is not in that comfort zone, I think it's super important. And I know it's probably weird for some people to be like, hey, I like to do this, 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 and this, you know, when they can't talk to anyone about it. Which is why I think the money thing is sort of that, you know, almost like a contract that, okay, your secrets are safe with me, you know?
Yeah.
Thank you. LadyRed, this is an old segment that I used to do all the time, and it's fitting for this show. We'd write a Miss Melissa, the editor of my books, and the ones who did the covers for my books, would write an article. Has written many articles for your kinky friends called BDSM on a budget. Now, I don't always have the money to, a lot of times we like pervertibles, take something from the house and make it pervertible. So, LadyRed, with your new podcast, I know all of it. A lot of this is about do it yourself, getting stuff together, making something from nothing. That's what I'm doing. That's what your kinky friends are. So we got to be conscious of our budget. So what are some ways that you could live your life BDSM on a budget? I'm gonna go around the whole stream. But what are some advice for BDSM on a budget?
For me, so I started going to the dollar store, and I've made things that people didn't know you can make on a budget. I made some floggers. I've made what are they? The spiky gloves. The gloves. I made gloves. I made clothing with spikes in them. I made all kind of things. As far as a budget goes, I'll spend a little bit of money, put a little bit of extra time into things, and then when the scene comes, I have things that might look like something someone paid $100 for. Something that people are like, oh, where'd you get that from? Oh, I made it. So my budget is being done.
Mistress Sophie, do you have any BDSM on a budget suggestions?
I did. This might not be BDSM as such, but I did sort of take inspiration once from the Australians, and they have the hats with the corkscrews. And instead of I actually took the corkscrews and I replaced them with toilet roll holders. So I know that sounds pretty crap.
Yeah.
Hey, it's all about being creative, being whimsical. And Valentina, what's your suggestion?
We are a Dad's Army country, make do amend. That's the UK.
So one thing to remember is that before we got a whole industry of kink toy makers and furniture makers, kink has been around as long as sex has been around. So and all those classic fetish stories, like for instance spanking, rulers, belts, slippers, hairbrushes, spatulas, all these kinds of things for hardware stores, office supply stores for clips and clamps, and those things that are made to hold memo notes with like little alligator clips on them with like a little weighted base. Those are pretty nasty. Rubber bands, obviously like Army Navy supply stores. We have paracord. Paracord is wonderful for all kinds of detail bondage. Obviously like just clothesline rope and nylon rope that you can get at sporting goods stores and whatever. Honestly, like I have this fantasy, this whole thing about doing an entire like sports themed, athletic themed scene, and maybe even a setup like squat racks you can tie somebody to, gymnastic rings. Where did we get these bondage rings? Well, guess what? These straps for gymnasts and stuff, they're designed to hold body weight and to swing from and all these kinds of things. So think about like, what do you want to accomplish? And how did we originally do that? Or how can you figure that out? And
gymnastics and track and field. I can't even think what you're going to do with a javelin or a shot put. Those people have people in trouble. All right, let's move it on. Financial domination. Now, this is a topic. Some people are very much against it. Some people love it. Some people it is what it is. They don't care. Mistress Claudia, what's your opinion on financial domination? Do you have experience with it? Is it something that people...
I want to hear something funny. I always try to have experience with it, but I must be doing something wrong, because I don't know how these women get all this money just handed to them, because I don't. I never get I mean, when people meet with me in person, I usually meet with them for forever, like years and years and years. But when it comes to like financial domination online and all that stuff, I guess I don't connect very well with people online. I have to like really touch them and see them and feel them and read them. And I think online, I don't know, like, I don't know how these people get all this money, because I sure as heck don't. I don't think, one time I got like $150 to like, but I had to mail my toenail clippings to someone, you know?
Yeah.
So it's not, and poor kid. Well, anyways, but I don't know.
It could be a happy man. It's all perspective.
Yeah.
That person might be like, oh, this is the greatest. So worth it.
Potato chips.
You know, there was like, did you hear about that lady that was like an actress, and then she started like putting her farts in jars and made millions of dollars?
Yeah.
How do you do that? You know?
Well, Mistress Sophie, don't you sell your farts? Was that you were talking about?
Mistress
Tupperware?
Sophie, how do you do it? Tell me your secret. What do you eat? What kind of jars do you use? No, I'm just kidding.
LadyRed, do you have any opinion? And keep in mind, I mean, we're not kink shaming if you don't like it. If you do like it, you know, it is what it is. What is your opinion of financial domination?
So this is a question I was actually going to put on one of my podcast episodes, because like you said, I don't have anything against anyone, but like me personally, sometimes I feel like when you're doing that, isn't it kind of like taking the fun out of it? So I mean, of course you're gaining money from it, but like I don't know how to really, I don't know the financial part of that. I don't really know how I feel about it yet.
Well, for the professionals out there,
There you go.
for the professionals out there, let me ask you this. Money changes everything. You being a professional and with other people, vanilla people, and just, you know, people who know and accept and everything like that, I'm sure money changes everything. Does it? How has it, how do you handle discussions about money in your personal kink relationships? Do you have to be careful with what you say? Do you kind of let it all out? Does your approach and your attitude and your tone to the discussion change because of who you're talking to? You know, so let's ask Anna. Anna, how do you handle that?
So first of all, I want to say something about findom, and I've done some thinking about this, and I've had various I don't know. I don't do like the findom, like, you know, hey, give me money. I don't know. It sort of kind of leaves me cold. But what I understand it from this perspective. Money is a man's worth. His job and his standing and whatever, society makes him feel and think and believe that his worth is very, very tied into his money. And so when he is giving his money or sacrifices money or whatever, it's a, you know, it's an ego humiliation. It's a soul bond, whatever. But think about this way. People gamble. People love to spend money in ways that give them that dopamine, that give them that pleasure. And when you take it to more of an extreme, like, you know, what do guys love to, they complain about, I spent so much on my girlfriend, and I spent so much, they brag about, I spent so much money at the strip club last night. Oh my God. Well, he's not like going to have you know, it's like, it's a show of worth, of potency, of power. Oh, I just spent, and it hurts. You know, it's that masochism, it hurts. Oh, I just spent this much. Oh my gosh, you know. But there's this, you know, there's a lot of emotions and so on tied up into it. Now, in my personal relationships, I've had slaves who were broke. I've had slaves who were wealthy. It depends. I like to say, like, I take from each according to their ability and according to, you know, my desire or whatever, you know, but it's tailored to each person. You know, I can't just blanket demand that, you know, a guy who does manual labor gives me $1,000 a month or something. By the same token, though, When I have a wealthy slave, I don't necessarily want to be like, well, you give me such and such money a month, because that's playing into his idea of his own power, that he has this money, and if I am too much into, well, but so I have to leverage that power dynamic in other ways. So when it's in my personal relationship, I like to be very upfront. What is your, in general, I don't need to necessarily sit down and look at all your financial statements, but the more transparent you can be with me, the more I'm going to trust you. And the more I'm going to feel like, like we can do this together in a constructive way. Otherwise, it makes me kind of uncomfortable if somebody's like not being forthcoming or something. And I'm like, well, I don't know, whatever. And I begin to kind of wonder, like, why are you not being transparent with me? And they very well, know that I'm a pro and so on. But like, it's, instead of it being, a direct pay for play kind of situation, it is, you need to be a constructive part of my life. And so it gets kind of spread out in other ways, like, rent, bill, whatever, and I am not into the, like, I'm going to buy designer bags and stuff. I know people like the boys fantasize about, oh, I'm going to dress her all in designer stuff. I got, bags for her. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. How about you, help me, buy me some camera equipment, buy me some sound gear, buy me a new laptop, whatever, just like, things that I can actually use. That's what I consider real giving and real dedication. It's not just, a jerk off fantasy about how much money you have. So let's
talk about gear. I want to ask LadyRed. Gear costs money. So does gear cost, right? So how do you prioritize your purchase while maintaining safety and quality? So you want a good piece of equipment, either a flogger, or you want this, you want that, or spanking bench, or whatever it is. You want to make sure it's durable. You want to make sure it's legit, and it can't break your bank. You want to get the best, So how do you do all this? What advice would you give to somebody?
Well, I mean, there's certain things you have to actually put money into, because like you said, certain benches you want to go out and pay for quality, not just, something that's cheap. So you just got to kind of figure out the use that you'll get from it. You know what I'm saying? Like me, I buy a lot of my clothing from Temu, so it's like, I have no problem. I'm always sexy. So I will spend, as far as my clothing goes, I buy new outfits almost all the time, but they're cheap, you know what I'm saying? But like equipment and stuff, sometimes I might spend, a good amount on something, but I know I'm gonna use it a lot of times, not just that one event or that one, scene, So you just got to prioritize, just think about it. Like, how is this going to be useful in the long run? And should I drop this much money on it, or should I just, is it worth just, buying something cheap at the time, or something less, less?
This reminds me of Mistress Claudia. How much was that toilet coffin?
The toilet coffin, I think he spent like over $5,000 for that.
That's a lot.
Think about, I think it was closer to like $8,000.
Was that something he used often? Do you use a lot?
Oh my God,
no,
you could buy a car for that.
So listen to this. So this guy had this custom-made toilet coffin that was under his bed, and you could pull it out, and you pull it out from under the bed, and then he would lay in it, and it was so fancy. And then you'd sit, in the toilet, and he was really into toilet play. Well, he ended up meeting a woman that he was getting engaged to, and he could no longer play. And I'm like, well, are you going to tell her about your kink? And because he was super into toilet play. And I don't know, how does this woman not know that he has this custom made toilet coffin under his bed? So
how does she not smell it on him?
I know,
right? Well, because he eats it all. No.
I'm not doing it. No cake shaming.
All right.
No
all right.
crumbs.
Let's move on. All right. Let's move on. Keep it fun. Read up. I'm gonna ask this as a group. It's gonna be chaos, and I'm gonna enjoy it, and you're gonna feel weird. So, all right. Which one do you think? Which fetish makes the most
Oh my
money
God.
out of all the fetishes there are? There's foot fetishes, there's sissification, there's pain sluts, there's toilet coffin lovers. What fetish makes the most money, do you think?
I think scat play.
Huh.
I make the most money when it has to do with that.
Anna?
Well, I can't, I mean, you mean like overall out of all the fetishes. Okay.
Or for you?
Yeah, I would say definitely the most, like if you're talking about like content and stuff, definitely the most extreme. Like the huge strap-on content that I've done, like extreme strap-ons, fisting like that. I still get people like finding me from a 10-year-old shoot that I did and spending money and so on. So yeah, definitely the more extreme stuff. I love
You
spanking.
left an
It doesn't
impression.
make me as much.
You left an impression.
In a lot of ways, yeah. So yeah, anything that really shocks the eyeballs and the adrenaline.
What was the
makes
biggest
money.
strap on you had?
The Dick Rambone. It's like 18 inches.
Wow.
Goes like that. Yeah. It comes down to my knees.
I don't know if my guts would like that.
Interesting.
What about LadyRed? You've seen it. I mean, you have a podcast and you're studying and you're all these different fetishes. In your opinion, what do you think? What fetish makes the most money?
Well, just from what I've seen I saw a lady on Facebook the other day, and she was talking about how she had a client and how she would prepare like a week before, take laxatives, take all this stuff. And then when they had the big scene, she'd go, on top of him or whatever. And she was saying how she made like $1,500. I don't know what the going rate for that is, but that just seemed like that's a good amount of money to, just, meet with a person once a month or, from what that seemed like
Mistress
that.
Claudia, do I have to start pooping on people now?
Well, so here's the thing, like some people are into it for different reasons, but the other thing is we all poop. We poop every day.
Everybody
every other day. I don't know. So my thing is, like my mom, she's like, I can't believe you make people eat your poop. And I'm
Your
like,
mom?
Oh yeah, I tell my mom everything. She gets a kick out of it. But
oh my God. Okay. Oh, we gotta do a show about that. We gotta do a show about that, about people knowing. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is that, it's something that you do every day. So the like what you said, like I don't have to take laxatives, but I have to do it at a certain time of day, which is usually between 11 and 12. And I hate doing sessions early because I have too much stuff to do. And so I have to make the time to do it. So I charge more. I do not charge $1,500. Actually, lately, because I haven't raised my rate since 2010, which whatever, it is what it is. I'd rather be busy. I'd rather have repeat people. So, the doms that charge $600 to $1,000, God bless them if you can. Whoa, that's great. But how busy are you? Why are you contacting me and want to do doubles with me? Because I'm so busy, but I also, when it comes to money, I would rather be busy and have a regular clientele than gouge someone, and be like, well, I'm worth $1,000 an hour. Well, okay, that's great. I'm glad you feel that way, but how busy are you? Why don't you have, it? So everyone has their own way of doing things. I feel, I would rather be busy. I don't want to say I have Walmart mentality, but I mean, I don't charge $1,500. Some people pay me $350 to do a brown shower, which, you have to do it anyways. Like, it's pretty cool. I feel, I know some people think it's really gross, but you become desensitized. And I don't know if all of you become desensitized to the things we do. When I have my big, huge, giant dildos, And, you know, it always seems like the littlest guys can take the biggest cocks, like, and I forgot I filmed it on her phone. Well, he has this character that he becomes, and she's a total hoe bag slut. And so I mean, it's as big as his leg. I'm like, what the heck? How did that fit up there?
Wow.
But, you know, it's all about, and I have a lot of fun in my sessions. Like I love my life. I love my life. And I think that's when we did the thing about dating a dom. No guy that I've met, I mean, they're like, what do? You take a crap on someone? And it's like, yeah, don't like it. Bye-bye. You know, it doesn't mean I'm going to do it to you, but it's, I mean, I feel like we're blessed. I think we're blessed that we can connect with others. We're blessed that, you know, I always call myself like a dark therapist, because I feel like we're connecting with people in a soul level that they cannot connect with anyone like they connect with us. And even if it's lifestyle, you know, like when you're in a session where there's a transaction, it's that transaction to me is a contract of trust, you know, where you could be in a community and then you're seeing someone and then things don't work out, and then they're seeing someone else and, oh, guess what they're into? Blah, 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 blah. You know, where with us, it's like, no, it's like a doctor. Like there is a vow of privacy and a vow of, you know, committing to, you know, keeping everything discreet. And I don't know. I love my life. I think it's great.
So let's talk about the future of kink and money, right? We're gonna wind things down, excuse me. How do you see the financial landscape of kink evolving in the next few years? We are living in times that are changing rapidly, quicker. AI is evolving, right? Our rights are, some say, are being taken away. You know what I mean? Life's different. Life's going to change. I have a lot of fears in the next coming years, to tell you the truth. How do you see the financial landscape of kink evolving in the next year? Let's start with that.
Who wants to start?
I mean, I can start. Like, as far as the future, I think so. I know that I've been into this since, you know, I was a younger person, and before I took it to the level of, hey, I love what I do, let's do this. But I think that with, you know, the exposure of pornography, with the exposure of, you know, all of the platforms like that are, you know, people are making bank. The thing is that, you know, that's going to die out. You know, I feel like there's the people that are truly into it, and they'll continue, and they'll always be there, you know, classic icons. And then there'll be, you know, the fly by night. So those come and go over the years. And I think that no matter what shape, no matter what size, no matter what you're into, there is always going to be people that will be into you and like you and like your style and trust you. So I think that if you're truly into this and you truly love it, I think that I mean, I'm thinking like, oh my God, when I'm 80 years old, am I going to be doing this? But I couldn't think of doing anything else. So I think it'll be good for us, you know.
Anna, Valentina, where do you see the financial landscape of kink evolving in the next few years?
Okay, of course I have a couple things to say first. One is when Mistress Claudia was talking about like, oh, you know, I have to go every day. I'm like, I knew a dom who said she was a scat queen. She was hilarious. She was like, every time I go to the bathroom, I look down and say, that's money down the toilet.
It's so good. I mean, it's true.
And about working kink in to like money into professional kink or whatever. A lot of times I'll ritualize the giving of money as literally an offering in their hands and that kind of thing. It's very much like literal respect. But as far as the financial landscape of kink, so here's the thing. We're seeing a lot of mainstreaming. We're seeing a lot of like, hey, you can do it yourself. We can, you know, the kits, the bondage and, you know, kits and so on that couples can just go into a porn store and grab some basic things and whatever, right? So it's being more blended into the mainstream as approachable. But it's like, you know, you can go on YouTube and find any number of cooking videos. I love to cook. I do this all the time. You can see any number of cooking videos from like amateur to like, you know, accomplished chefs and whatever, and they can all teach you how to cook or show you how to cook, right? And you can learn that for yourself. You cook for yourself. Does that mean that you'll never go to a restaurant again? Does that mean that that the restaurant industry is going to die out because people are learning to cook for themselves? No, absolutely not. You know, there's always going to be like, it's a spectrum. If you're just a dabbler, you know, then you probably won't go to a pro dom for however many hundreds of dollars an hour or something like that. You'll be satisfied with just doing it at home or at the party or whatever. If you are more serious, you know, it's just like if a person's more serious about going to restaurants or something, they will want to go to a destination, a restaurant, or do destination eating, or find, you know, they will know who the greats are and they will go to them. There's always going to be like, it's always going to be like that no matter what industry it is. So it is more approachable, but we're going to see more of that stratification of like, you know, the greats are still great. And then whoever's not interested in that will just kind of stay home or whatever.
Mistress Sophie, how do you see the financial landscape of kink evolving in the next few years?
I think, interestingly, you know, I say
in a
that
word,
I say that with a pinch of salt because recently there's been a lot of crackdown, a lot of, you know, restrictions and things like that. But yeah, I do agree with Mistress Claudia and Valentina. You know, I feel that, yeah, there's always going to be the greats. There's always going to be the ones who know what they're talking about. And they're going to be the people they'll gravitate towards first. And then they'll then work their way down the chain.
mm-hmm.
I mean, I wouldn't class myself as a, you know, a dom who's in the same league as one of the high flyers in the UK. So, you know, I okay, it's a matter of opinion, but as myself, I'm very modest. I'm modest and I'm optimistic. Yeah. But I think that in terms of like financial side of things, yeah, it's gonna hurt a few people, but I can't see it drying out completely. So yeah, that's my take on it.
LadyRed, how do you see the financial landscape of kink evolving in the next few years?
I think it's going to evolve where people are making more money, actually, because, I mean, social media is giving people platforms to advertise on. People are accepting more things nowadays than they did a few years ago. So I think as far as financial landscape, it's money out there for people to make.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that, I'm going to ask the question to the group. I want to kind of like a visceral reaction, initial reaction. Do you think that the current state of the country is going to force kink to get more underground, which in turn will make
it work?
Oh,
that's a good question.
I don't think so. Okay, so the last time that the last time we had the current president as president last time, it did affect you know, a lot of like the big huge advertising platforms that I advertised on for like 15 years, they no longer would like they actually got rid of BDSM. And for a while they left the United States. So it definitely, you know, that impacted my main source of advertising disappeared. And so this time I don't see that much of a negative impact happening because it already happened. And those advertising platforms figured out the glitches of, okay, so we're not going to be in the US base anymore. We're not going to be in South Carolina. We're going to be in the Netherlands, or, you know, and they kind of figured all that stuff out. Unfortunately, they got rid of the BDSM category. So, you know, if you want to advertise, you have to advertise as a full, you know, that you provide sexual services, which I don't. So, which others do, I don't care. Good for them. I just can't handle it. But, you know, I think that we're all going to be okay. I think one thing that I've learned though over the years, and I have a lot of apprentices. I don't charge for people to be my apprentice. I feel like I like to empower others and, you know, make them feel good. And, you know, whatever happens with their empowerment, you know, if they become the next great Dom, that's fantastic. But what I feel is if, you know, I know a lot of people that they don't focus on themselves. They don't focus on taking care of, you know, like you don't need to compare yourself to anyone else. We all are unique. We all have a following. We all have clientele. Just have fun and love life. And, you know, if someone else is, you know, making millions of dollars, that's incredible. That's great. You know, maybe they have a couple secrets they could share, but just like, you know, Mistress Sophie, especially if the government and whatever is cracking down on things and whatever, you know, just focus on just taking care of yourself and doing well with, you know, in your life. And like, you're a fabulous Dom and you're amazing to everyone that meets you, you know? So,
that's right.
Well said, Mrs. Claudia.
That's right.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
right.
you very much for
You know?
saying that.
Yeah.
And Vladimir pops in. I think
Oh.
we need a new platform for kinky people, something like FetLife mixed with loyal fans, where you could still look, update, meet new kinky friends. So that brings me to the next topic, my final topic. How can YKF make us money? I always say this. I'm always asking this. And it's not just, I mean, of course I need money. We all need money. Like, seriously. And it's, you know, I'm at a point where YKF, literally every show could be the last. This may be the last YKF show. You never know. I take it. I live in the moment. I'm living on borrowed time, but we need money to make it happen. I don't feel good if I'm not making my friends money. My new kink is helping people, is serving people. I fucking love it. I seriously do. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel alive. It reminds me I'm alive and why I should stay alive.
Yeah.
So how can YKF make money? So I put some heads together, my friends, and we came up with the YKF Marketplace. What we want to do is everyone here has some kind of something to sell, whether it's a book or toys or a service or a production company or editing or anything, something. I'm talking about keeping money in the kink community. So how do we do this? Everyone has their own voice. Everyone has their own style. Everyone has their own store. I'm working with my friend Ed Wood to work up a server so we could have an actual server, like a online mall, right? Where it's exclusive. You have to be kind of like cool. You got to be in the know to go in. You know what I mean? And there's exclusive stuff there. This is just the brainchild. I need all the help I can get, all the imagination I can get. So please reach out to me. Be a part of it. So right now we have a concept, and we have access to a server, and then we have another Dom. I don't want to mention her name, but she's definitely helping me out with this marketplace. Yeah, well and out there. She's amazing. She's been a part of this too. We need all the help we can get, and this is for you. We can keep the money in the community. We can help each other out. We can help each other make money. You know what I mean? That's how we'll survive as a community. They're coming for us.
Oh,
Yeah.
So the only way we're going to survive is with money. I hate to say it. Now, for a fun thing I want to talk about. Okay, finally. A lot of people talk about phone sex, and it's a whimsical thing, right? Let's set up a character for me. If I was going to start a phone sex line, right? Not something that would make me money. It's not about that. Of course I want to make money, but what do you think? You know me, right? What would be a YKF phone sex line? A Nicholas Tannic phone sex line? Would you call up? Would they call up to, just to talk? Would they call up for a confidence boost? Would they call up to be degraded? Are they a sissy to be, because I know about the sissy narrative. I've done both. I've domed sissies hard. What would you say I should do if I was going to do this?
counseling?
I was going to say people will call. This happens to me with me a lot on my phone line. Is I would say a significant portion of my conversation time on Night Flirt is exactly that. It's conversation. It's personal, intimate conversation. People tell us about their lives. People come to you and they don't, they can't or won't talk to their wives, girlfriends, bosses, cousins, neighbors, whatever, about all of this. And it's not all about kink. It's about their feelings, about how they feel as people. And guys, really need this outlet, and they don't want to be afraid of being judged. So if you can provide a safe space for people to just be themselves, they will flow in and out of this kink space, but eventually they will come to this point where they feel comfortable enough with you, and they will just pay to talk because it's that valuable. So I think the talk with Tannic thing could be really good. I think because you are experienced and you are like a voice of community, actually that's a hot thing. You could be like, I'm this community leader and kind of like, I have all these connections and so on. And, don't you wish you could live my life?
The kink dictionary returns.
Mistress Claudia, any thoughts on this?
I think the same thing. There's a lot of people out there that do not have any outlets. They have no friends to talk to. They have, there's a lot of people that are introverted in this community. There's a lot of people that doubt themselves. So I think that being open and, if you did something where it was just kind of like a free for all, like, hey, what do you want to talk about? And just go from there. Because I feel like there's so many people out there that, being accepted, especially by our community, it could change their life, where they're not accepted.
Well, if anyone out there wants me to do it, I'm here to serve the community. So, but I need to know if you want me to serve. So, I don't know. Everybody out there. How can the kink community support you, all of you, and what you're doing? Let's start out with Mistress Sophie. Mistress Sophie, how can people get in touch with you? What do you need to promote?
Well, first thing they can do is join this.
Ooh, what is that? Ooh.
It's my new organization, the SDS.
Ooh.
The motto is to command and control.
See, we're doing things in this community.
Yes.
Beautiful. Yes. Anna Valentina, how can people get in touch with you and, have their pussy boss button around by you?
Right. Well, my website for forever and ever is annavalentina.com. If you can spell my name, which you very well should, it's just myname.com. And then my most immediate way to, for me to pay attention to you is nightflirt.com, NITEFLIRT, and it's my name, Anna Valentina on Night Flirt. And that's my phone session and, whatever line, phone cam, content, whatever. But yeah, you can call and talk directly to me. So that's how you find me.
LadyRed, with your new podcast and everything, the leather family. I want to get back on the show. We can do a leather show. That'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
But how can people get in touch with you, support you?
I was trying to type it in the comments, but I can't. But subscribe. I'm on YouTube. IMK LadyRed. I'm on FetLife, Interview My Kink with LadyRed. I'm on Facebook, Interview My Kink with LadyRed. I mean, just follow me. If you know anyone who wants to be interviewed, point them my way, because I want to talk to every kinky BDSM leather person in the world. Can I get with you afterwards?
Yes.
You know what?
Absolutely.
I love this. See, this is
I am
why.
serious. I will have you on my show, and that's the thing. I want to talk to all of y'all. Y'all are some fascinating people. So that's how you can support me, because I'm supporting the community. So
I love this. Mistress Claudia, how can people get in touch with you and support you and don't bring up the toilet coffin. It's a sore subject.
Wait, what?
The toilet coffin brings itself up.
Oh yeah, look at this. Yeah, Mistress Claudia, Nicholas hasn't stopped talking about the toilet coffin.
yes, he talks about it.
He's like, don't bring up this thing that I can't stop talking about.
It's a term I haven't heard ever.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's a brand new sentence.
Like, may the thirds rest in peace.
Oh my god!
Do you say things like, do you like make puns while you poo in the toilet coffin?
I literally
like
do.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, I mean, literally from an early age, my family have always said to me, "You should do stand-up comedy. You're like a female version of Robin Williams."
Yeah.
And I was even at a supermarket once, and I actually managed to pull off an almost perfect impression of Michael Winslow from Police Academy.
Oh my god!
You know the black guy that does all like the sound and everything.
Yeah.
I was able to do that, but yeah.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Mistress Claudia, how can people get in touch with you?
They could go to my website, which is right here, or they could reach out. I never answer my phone. I said that earlier. I never answer my phone. So the person that called me 4 times today, I will never talk to you because that's rude. And it says that on my message, do not call me, text me. So they could text me at my phone number I've had forever. It's 774-269-4757. And every session that I do, as you know, 100% goes to the support of a nonprofit organization that rescues animals in a very rural, poor area that I choose to live in. So most of my sessions, I would say 95% of all my money goes to the animals. So when people call me, oh, can I have a session with you right now? No. Well, right now I have the flu, but no, you can't, because half the time you see me on Sundays, I have the day off usually, so I'm a mess. But so text or my website, which will have my email and everything. But I always respond unless you call me. I won't respond.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Everybody, please go out. First of all, you get 15% off. Locked and Lost with offer code YKF. Try the crock rock. This thing is awesome. We call it the saddle. If you have a chastity sub, put this on him and put on the chastity sub and ride. Yeah, squirt in seconds. It's great. Read a book, please. The written word that's what's gonna last. You know what? What happens when the Great Reset happens and there's no internet? Read about that, right? The written word is something that could last. Right, read a book. The coolest way to kill yourself. I wrote a book called Shit Black Nail Polish about me being a kid, the punk rock scene in New Jersey, and this is all about healing the kink community. And also, Stan Vladimir says, "Hugs for Daisy, hugs for Daisy."
Yes.
She's doing really good. She's so cute. I'll bring her next week. I'll have her say hi on the show.
Oh, this is good. This is so good. This is so great. I'm so happy. It's going to be a great week. Thank you, all of you for your attention, your energy, your wisdom, your experience, and your insight. I've learned some today. I hope some other people have too. Let's get paid. Seriously, I come from like Cool Mo D said. I come from the school of cool, and they tell us to get paid. Well, your Kinky Friends University is now in session, and Make an application. Look out for the YKF Marketplace. Have a wonderful evening, everybody. Be cool, be kind, keep an open mind. Take care.
Okay. Have a good one. I'm gonna get in touch with you, ladies.
Okay.
Yes.